All right, good morning class. My name is Liam McLaughlin. Today we'll be taking a look at the health of the oceans. More specifically, my research question is, to what extent has global warming put the Great Barrier Reef at risk of dying in the 21st century? So this question is important because the Great Barrier Reef is one of Earth's natural wonders. It is the largest coral reef system in the world, and it's one of Earth's most diverse ecosystems, home to more than 1,500 species of fish, over 400 species of coral, and more than 30 species of marine animals. Unfortunately, rising ocean temperatures due to global warming has put the reef system at risk. My claim is that coral bleaching and ocean acidification from global warming has put the Great Barrier Reef at risk of dying in the 21st century. One of the major effects of rising ocean temperatures due to global warming is coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is when coral undergoes changes due to stress caused by alterations in temperatures. These changes can often cause coral to become completely white, making it more susceptible to diseases. Coral bleaching is the most prominent threat to the Great Barrier Reef in the 21st century. When discussing the threat of coral bleaching to the Great Barrier Reef, the Washington Post said in 2016 alone, about 30% of the Great Barrier Reef's corals were lost. This means that coral bleaching is rapidly killing off most corals in the reef system in recent years. Furthermore, the Art Center of Excellence for Coral Reef Studies stated that the Great Barrier Reef has experienced two major bleaching events in recent decades, in the summers of 1998 and 2002, when, respectively, 42% and 54% of reefs were affected by bleaching. This shows that in recent decades, the number of corals affected by bleaching has increased quite dramatically. My next point I would like to talk about is ocean acidification. Ocean acidification is when carbon dioxide, mostly made from burning fossil fuels, is absorbed by seawater during the carbon cycle. The NOAA, which is my stimulus source that I use, states that carbon dioxide absorbed into the ocean from the atmosphere has already begun to reduce calcification rates in reef building and reef-associated organisms by altering seawater chemistry through decreases in pH. So basically, when the carbon is absorbed into seawater, it's making the seawater more acidic, which can be dangerous for several organisms in the Great Barrier Reef. And the Australian government states that even relatively small increases in ocean acidity reduces the capacity of coral to build skeletons, which in turn reduces their capacity to create protective habitat for the reef's marine life. Australian politician Warren Esch says that the main thing responsible for coral bleaching is not actually global warming, but is the single use of plastics. The use of single-use plastics. While it is true that plastics can carry microbes and settle on coral, bringing disease, it is not the main thing responsible for coral bleaching. Studies have shown in the 21st century, as ocean temperatures rise, so does the coral bleaching events. Coral bleaching and global warming have a direct correlation. The best way to maintain the health of the Great Barrier Reef is to solve the root of the problem, which is global warming. The main thing we can do is stop burning fossil fuels. We can do this by using renewable energy such as solar, hydro, and wind energy. Emitting less carbon emissions from your car can also help. We can do this by taking more public transportation or using more eco-friendly cars. Finally, eating local foods will eliminate distance trips from trucking companies, and eating less resource-intensive meats can help as well. Thank you. Any questions that I can answer for you guys?
All right, two questions for you. First up, tell me how your research question evolved as you went through the process.
So I knew I wanted to do it about the Great Barrier Reef and global warming, but as I began to study the topic, I realized that most of it has happened within the past 2 decades or so. So that's why I chose to mainly focus on the 21st century, because as global warming has intensified in recent decades. So has the coral bleaching.
Right, and if you had more time, what additional research would you done?
So one of the things that I found is that the Great Barrier Reef has been divided in like 3 main sections, and throughout years, some sections have been more greatly affected by coral bleaching and ocean acidification than others have. So I'd really like to see why that was.
All right, you're done.